I remember 2 weeks before my Carnegie Hall concert and injury after that, I remember bragging to my students, I never had any hand problems in my life. I remember bragging at them. I remember telling them, you all come with injuries. I play guitar all my life. Never had any problems. It was so interesting because I remember I said, damn it, you cannot play an open string. And 2 weeks ago you were bragging that you never had a hand injury.
Can you tell us how your focal dystonia manifested?
I did see some kind of weakness on my hand, but nothing that I have not experienced before. Oh, I am kind of weak because I'm practicing a lot, I have this. And of course in my case, that time I was playing again at Carnegie Hall, and I was playing that night 2 guitar concertos, plus solo, plus chamber. Huge program. Nothing that I haven't done anything before. But as you're getting older, I pushed myself, okay, I can do that. Sold out concert, played the whole night, no problem. Emotionally though, I did not feel well. I played, I pushed myself, there was no problem during the performance. And then after this I got tired in terms of I don't want to play the guitar for a few days. I want to take a break. When I tried to play the guitar a few days later, I wasn't there. So to answer the question, there was no warning.
What happened when you tried to play?
My fingers, they were not following what I was supposed to do. I was trying to engage that specific finger, and that finger was not following. It was very hard to move it. My A finger was going inwards, my index finger was going outwards. There was no pain in this situation. That's what's happening in focal dystonia. There's no pain. It's just feel that you actually trying to move your fingers and they're not doing what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, there was all this tension on the whole hand, including the arm, that with this tension, it will make it impossible to make any relaxing movement. It's an unconscious behavioral error. Neurologists and everything is talking about involuntary contractions and everything. This is not the case. This is not the case. I've seen it in so many people. We are actually doing it. We are making the muscle or the tendon to do this movement, but we don't realize it is an unconscious movement. And if someone points this out, you can fix it very early. If no one points this out, then the way I describe it, then suddenly we start feeding the brain with the wrong message. The brain is like a little puppy. The brain is not us. The brain is like, okay, I'm here, give me stuff. If you give to the brain stuff that they're not good stuff, still the brain will take it as information. To give you an example, for instance, if I'm an actor and they give me lots of money and say, well, for 24 hours you will limp because you are on camera and you play this guy on TV that you have to limp all the time. But we will follow you for a year. And you have a conscious understanding that you are going to limp because it's part of your job. There's nothing wrong with your foot. A year later, when the whole movie, whatever, ends, and you start and you try to walk normal, you could not do it. Because you gave to the brain the wrong information again and again and again. The brain, the only thing the brain will do is say, okay, you want me to walk this way. The brain does not know that this is right or wrong. The brain knows this is a different way. And what the brain does, creates a new neuron. It's like almost like a new highway that says, oh, from now on you will take this highway to wherever you want to go, not the other that I thought it was the right one. And for a year you take this road. The other neuron, it gets not walked as often anymore. So you create a very strong neuron that you are, in my example, limping. So when you try to walk the right way, the brain will reproduce the limping. As neurologists immediately think, oh, it's neurological. It's not neurological. This is neuroplasticity. You made it happen. You have to teach the brain the right stuff. The brain, of course, in the beginning will kick back. Will say, are you kidding me? For a year and a half, you're telling me to play this way, with tension, for instance, with the wrong motion, with the wrong technique. Now you want me to play in a different way. The brain will want to go back to what it was used to, and this is actually where it's more interesting and a little bit more confusing about getting out of focal dystonia. You have to retrain yourself based on what you actually need to retrain. If someone has dystonia on the hand and the hand is not working, you have to see how you can retrain the specific movements you're trying to reproduce. It's not like a generic thing. Okay, let me fix my hand to do everything. What your hand does not do, these specific movements. In my case, because I tried to follow this retraining, I didn't even know if this is going to work. When we're talking about, I was not able to play one open string without tension. So my hand will be totally tense like a rock, and my fingers, they will go up and down. You have to start from how I can play one note without be so tense. In the beginning you have to approach the instrument with no tension at all, because then the problem can become psychosomatic. You have the fear for that. You have the fear of tension. So the moment you start realizing, okay, don't add another problem to the already problem. Approach the instrument in a very simple way. I remember for 3 months I was even doing this. I was going to the string, relaxed. Because I realized I cannot go to the string relaxed. The moment I was going to the string, I was tense. Was tense here. Was tense here.
How long did it take you to recover from focal dystonia?
It took me 7,000 hours.
So did you have a set amount of time each day to work on it?
Yeah, it was usually 5 to 6 hours a day for 4 years.
Right.
But the first year, it was experimentation, including, I didn't know what to do. I mean, asking people, trying to do this, trying to play my old way. Then the second year, it was something, you know, changing techniques and all this stuff. At the end of the second year, I start focusing in this kind of retraining. So, if I knew the things I know now, I will say it could have taken me half of the time.
If I could somehow wave a magic wand and make it so that the focal dystonia never happened to you, and you were able to carry on playing from that night of the concert with no physical problems whatsoever, or mental problems whatsoever, would you take that chance, or would you rather keep the focal dystonia and that terrible time and all that you've learned from it?
This is like the butterfly effect, yes?
Yes.
I have to tell you that being affected of focal dystonia, I found and I did many other things in my life. For instance, I always want to do movies. I directed 2 movies and released documentaries that they won first prizes. I would never have done this if I was still the guitarist I used to be, because I would never conceive, let me go and do movies now. And of course, coming out of this and playing, I remember playing my first chord, not piece, which was a C major chord. Playing my first chord with no tension. After my recovery, it was the most beautiful thing I ever heard in my life. And I played 2,000 concerts in my life. When I played that first chord, after I felt so relaxed, and I cried. I said, wow, I never knew I loved the guitar so much. So that's why I fixed my hand. I didn't fix it because I want to make another recording or to play in public. I want to fix it because I could never conceive myself not playing an instrument. How many times they ask us the same rhetorical question. If you had to do it again, will you do it again and become a guitarist? The answer is, yeah, actually I did. It's not rhetorical anymore, so I know how to answer this question now without lying or without saying things I don't know. If I had to do it again, yes, I did have to do it again. I did not have to do it, but I wanted to do it and I did it. I relearned the instrument from the very beginning. I relearned the instrument as an adult, as a musician, as a guitarist, and that is something that I don't want to sound, megalomaniac in this, but very few have this opportunity to relearn their instrument again as professional musicians. That's the, I don't want to say the beauty of it, because it is a devastating thing when it's happening. But when you come at the other side of the tunnel, it's like, wow, look at this. I relearned the instrument the way I was supposed to learn it. So
is that a no?
You have to put so many other parameters there. Then you say, okay, you made some movies. Okay, you relearned the instrument, but you went through hell for 4 years in that corner playing open strings. I don't know the answer.
That was a silly question. I'll look for a more sensible one. Would you say that you now play better than ever before?
Yeah, now I know exactly what my fingers are doing. Before, I didn't know. A student will ask me, how do I play this? And usually the right approach, and most of us sometimes do it, let me show you. Because your hand is doing it. Let me show you. Ah, okay. But you cannot tell. You have to take the instrument and see how you're doing it. That made me a better teacher.
Yeah.
Because now I don't need to just show them. I know exactly what I'm doing because that's how I studied. Especially when I was teaching guitar during my focal dystonia years, I was a better teacher my students knew that, you know, I have an injury, but nevertheless they become better musicians by having me teaching them without an instrument. Because before it was, I don't know why you cannot do it. Here, do it. It's almost, you know, when the doctor becomes a patient. And then you realize what they're going through. I just released my new CD. I play more effortless than I played before because I learned the guitar. I learned the guitar as a guitarist now, which is like, you know, because we learn the guitar, we learn an instrument mostly as kids, by instinct. Oh, do this, do this, do this. When you have an injury like this, it's a blessing in disguise, which, you know, many people, they will laugh about this and say, yeah, bullshit. No, actually it is, because if you recover out of this, you are really learning with the knowledge you have as a musician and body awareness and everything. And of course, asking for help for people about technique. So you are learning the guitar as a musician. You're not learning the guitar as an amateur. And that's an amazing thing. The moment you relearn the instrument, then there is no way that you can injure it again.